So, I've been looking around, only briefly, for the story of Henry Cavill's transformation into Superman. And as I related on my Facebook page earlier, I'm just a sucker for transformation stories, for training stories, specifically for training stories. And as somebody who's educated in this stuff, I know how to get bigger. I know how to eat and exercise and do the lifting and do the cardio to get that shape, to get that size and all that. That's not the issue. But when I was in Target today, I probably shouldn't name drop like that, but when I was in Target today, I was looking at the Muscle and Fitness magazine that had him on the cover, and it turns out, not only is it just a promo image of him on the cover and not actually, a photo shoot or anything that they did with him, but the article on his training routine isn't even actually his training routine. It's just a routine that some high-paid trainer put together to help people develop that, big V, bodybuild shape. And they dress it up because CrossFit is in vogue right now, so they dress it up with some less conventional maneuvers, but it's not CrossFit. I know CrossFitters, I've studied CrossFit, and this is not CrossFit. Just because you put a couple of hammers in somebody's hands and throw in a couple of planks doesn't make it a CrossFit routine. There's so much more to CrossFit than a couple of moves. And the fact is, and this is the truth, and I want you to understand this, when you go looking at the inspiration that you may get from movies and comic books and cartoons and action figures and all that kind of stuff, you got to realize that these are stylized representations of what we have come to esteem as the ideal figure of heroism. And it has very little to do with much of anything. You realize that really, I can't put an exact timeline on, but really, like before the 70s, we didn't really have big guys. Really, you look at Schwarzenegger with Conan the Barbarian, that was his break. He had done a little bit before that, but even he had trouble getting into movies because he was too big, too ripped. Nowadays, if you're not bigger than him, it's hard to get an action role part. And it brings up an interesting point. The bodybuilding explosion of the 60s through the 80s and even somewhat of the 90s really shaped our perceptions, because you look at martial arts stars back in the 60s and 70s when people were doing martial arts films, especially over in the East. You didn't have these bodybuilder type guys because martial artists naturally don't look like bodybuilders. They spend their time training in martial arts, and what fitness training they do comes in to support their martial arts and not vice versa. So you don't build these gigantic, bulging, pecs and biceps and everything. You just have a lean, sleek physique based off of activity. And so when you start bringing in these bodybuilder types, and it sells well because all of a sudden we have this idealistic image that's so close to, say, the Greek statues, it skews the image of what we're looking for. And I'll tell you, I know soldiers and have met soldiers, and none of them look like bodybuilders. They're all very strong and very resolved and have heavy endurance and all that. But I have met some guys in the service that were stronger than me and were skinny little fucks. And I have met guys who were much weaker than me, that were much bigger than me. But we play these games with shape and size, and I think it's damaging to our psyche as a culture and as individuals, because we start taking function out of the box and start placing all the emphasis on the form, and that's not a good thing. So while I may be looking for the story of how this actor became and prepared for Superman, I don't care about his hypertrophy routine and his cardio. Those things don't matter, because bodybuilder cardio is nothing like fighter cardio. And hypertrophy is a byproduct of efficient training in survival type training, in functional type training, and not the focus. So that being the case, I couldn't care less about what some trainer thinks is the best way to achieve the look of Superman. What I'm interested in is the story of how we got there, because it doesn't matter if I think my story is better or if I think my methods are better or worse or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that I'm interested in the story. And I'm interested in your story. And since I haven't found his, you know what? I want you to tell me a story. Please send me a reply, send me a comment, pop it in the email box, send me a video response, whatever you'd like to do. I want to hear your story, something in your life. And it doesn't have to be fitness and martial arts related if you don't have something along those lines. Let's, ideological change, philosophical change. How did you get into art? How did you get into music? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But what I want to know is, how did you see, I'm here, but there's something over there that I want, and I'm going to work my ass off to get there. I want to know your story. And so until next time, hope to hear your replies. Good journey.